How are you, Zimbabwe? My name is Anne Richards, Nicole. I'm the second born in our family. We're 10 within the family. My parents, my father's name was John, and my mother's name was Lydia. Unfortunately, my parents are both dead. We lived in 4 miles. That's on the Simon Mazorodze Road before you get across the Mukwisi River to 5 miles. We grew up there. At the school, I went to St. John's School, the one in Avondale. Then from St. John's, I went to Abeni Primary School. From Abeni Primary School, I went to Morgan High School. That's where we... And we've lived in, from 4 miles, we moved to Abeni. And that's where we lived. And that's from there, that's where I got married. I'm a mother of 5. I have grandchildren and great-grandchildren. But the issue I'd like to know is about my grandfather, where he was born, and where he died. My father was born at Murewa Police Station, and from Murewa Police Station, him and his mom and my father, they were transferred to Shamva Police Station. My father had a sibling there, but unfortunately the sibling died the time of the first influenza they had in this country when it was Rhodesia. And my grandfather was transferred to Mount Darwin on a mission, but he never came back. And my father, from there, my father didn't know where his father went to. When he was older, he decided to track and find where his father went to, but unfortunately nobody knew until where my father died. There's been no trace. So I, being the granddaughter, it's a thing that worries me. I would like to know where my grandfather went to, because to me, if a man is sent on a mission, the ones that sent him on a mission should have made a follow-up to say this man hasn't returned, but nothing of that came forth. So I would like to know where my grandfather went to, whether he went back, whether he was killed, or whether he died on his way back. Nobody knows. That's an issue that has been worrying me for years. That is why I've come to the DNA global testing to find out whether they could help me trace my grandfather's people and trace where my grandfather was buried. From what I gathered, my grandfather was a single man when he came through. He came on a mission, but he met my granny, who's my father's mother, in Murewa. That's where he married my granny, and they lived in the police camp in Murewa. And that's where my father was born. But then he was transferred from Murewa to Shamva Police Station. But he was a doctor within the police force. So according to my father and my grandmother, that he was transferred, he was told to go on a mission to Mount Darwin. And that was the last my granny saw of him. And that is the last my father saw of him. But when my father got older, he decided to go to Mount Darwin to find if there's anything about his father. But unfortunately, there was nothing that he could come up with. So what also concerned me is, if a man is in the police, are the police not supposed to go and find out why the person hasn't come back? They should have made some inquiries where they sent him to and how come he didn't return. Whether Whether he was killed on his way back, nobody knows. Whether he decided to make another turn, nobody knows. So it's an issue that has been pending, and I would like to know what happened to my grandfather. I got a brother, the brother that's overseas, he's deaf and dumb. His name is Robert Cole. He went 20 years ago, and he also made some inquiries. He came up with some birth certificates. Unfortunately, I didn't bring any documentation with me. But within the beginning of this year, he sent a DNA kit to my daughter in SA. I usually go to SA, I stay there 2-3 months, then I come back. All my children are there. I don't have any. The only siblings, the only kids I have here are my 2 grandsons, my last born sons. The one I've got here with me, and the other one is at home. And then when I went in, then I came back. I was in SA, then I came this side, because my brother was coming on holiday for a few days, and that's when I did my test, the day he was leaving. He left on the 18th of April, and that's when I did my test that morning, and he took the test with him to London, but he posted it to America. That's where they got that's where they did the test. And the results, and I think they're on the phone. There's Yugoslavia, and then there's Irish and Scots. And then there's Nepal, and I don't know what other country there is, because there is a bit of like Chinese among my grandchildren. I've got one that looks like a Chinese. And when my children are born, they have Chinese features with them. But as they get older, the features go away. But the one granddaughter, her features are like Chinese. So I don't know where, because the test that was done with, the test that my brother did on me was an ancestral test, the heritage, to find out where my father, where we really come from. We'd like to know, you know, I think everybody would like to know where their roots are from, you know, and that's the thing that my brother did. Since it's broad, I would like, if anyone has information overseas, wherever, if they can come forth with the information, because it's nice to know where you really come from. And I think everybody feels that way too, you know, and especially when you don't know much of your grandfather, you would like to know more of where he came from.